All right, projection time. So this time we have two sets of projections. Projections from Greid, I'm gonna butcher his name, and Shamil. This is gonna be interesting because there are a bunch of great heroes on this banner. I'm really excited for Hector because Resplendent Hector getting refined, even though it was Berserk Almaz, will be pretty interesting. Quan, my guy. I keep following this guy for his rallies. And of course, Marissa, free-to-play hero with Infantry Pulse. It's gonna be her time to shine, I bet. And then Grima's Truth from Morgan. Female Morgan got her refined like 12 months ago, something ridiculous. And now it's male Morgan's time. Free-to-play hero will be interesting. Sumiya with Flower Lance was always a bit weird and wonky. So I'll start with Shamil's refines first. First of all, these are projections. Projections. We'll know for sure what they are when the actual refines come out. But usually projections are pretty good, so I always like to do these. Alright, Sumiya, to start things off. Foe initiates combat or if foe's HP is 100%. At start of combat, grants attack +6 to unit and attack -6 on foe during combat. That is way better than what she has right now. Sumiya's lance right now is if you attack her, she gets +6 attack, which seems pretty good until remember it's friggin' Sumiya, as in she has no defense to speak of. So this is a big change. Let me bring her up. So chat, here's my Sumiya. Notice how she's using nothing and wielding nothing, and even though I have pretty good IVs, -HP plus speed, notice how I don't use her? That's because Reprisal Lance is Garbo, attack +6 when you only have 29 defense. It's so hard to build her correctly to use her. That's why this is really important, because it's now on both phases. If foe's HP is 100%, you get attack +6 and attack -6 on foe, which would stretch her bulk out to at least 35 at base, which is pretty decent. 35 defense at base, or 31 res, which helps a lot. Additionally, if units within 2 spaces of an ally, grants attack speed, defense, res +4 to unit during combat. Nice Sue, +4 to all stats just by being near an ally. Fits her pretty well. Considering the fact that she has close defense and a link, makes sense. That, right, if you use reposition or something, you're within 2 spaces of an ally. Additionally, reduces damage from foe's first attack by 30%. Okay. If they did that, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. It also kind of fits her more shy nature, I guess. When the moment comes that she'll take the lead. But man, 30% damage reduction is a lot. So we will see. I'm excited about that one, but we'll see. For Greid, he also has something similar. If foe initiates combat or if foe's HP is 100% at start combat, grants attack +6 to unit, inflicts attack -6 on foe during combat. That just makes the most sense to me, of course. If a foe uses sword, lance, axe, dragonstone, or beast damage and initiates combat against an ally within 2 spaces of unit, triggers Savior. Whoa! Whoa! That's a ballsy guess. I'm not sure they'll put Savior on. Wow, that's ballsy. I'm not so sure about that one. That is so ballsy. Attack speed, defense, res +3 during combat. It would fit Sumiya. It absolutely fits. But that's ballsy. I don't think that's happening. That one. Here's the thing. I do think they'll put Savior skills as a refine in the future. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it is kind of fair because she's a flyer, so it has a lot of weaknesses, and she doesn't have the BST, right? The HP, defense, and res to really make it work, as well as actual armor heroes. So she has a weakness. She doesn't have the BST, so it is pretty fair. But it's too early for that. I think it's way too early for that. So Greid, that's a heck of a guess, but I don't think it's happening. Next, we'll do Morgan. Grima's Truth grants defense +3 after combat unit attacked, inflicts attack speed -6 on target and foes within 2 spaces of target through their next actions, and grants attack speed +6 to unit and allies within 2 spaces for 1 turn. I told myself I would keep a Morgan just in case his refine is good if it ever comes, and to see it coming after all this time is actually pretty pleasant of a surprise. So it is improvement, right? Defense +3 has remained the same. Attack speed -5 has turned to attack speed -6, as well as attack speed +5 has turned to attack speed +6. Yeah, and they're also within 2 spaces still. If bonus is active on unit, inflicts a penalty on foe's attack speed during combat equals 5 plus any current penalty on each of those stats. Ah, in combat debuffs. Wow. Example, foe has -7 penalty on attack, inflicts attack -12 for a net penalty of attack -19 during combat, calculates each stat penalty independently. That makes a lot of sense. That's taking off of the Plegian banner, the same idea as the Plegian banner, which makes sense considering it's Grima's Truth, chat. I like that a lot. It's sensible. It's not broken. It's absolutely sensible, and it kind of works. So it's like the new Plegian weapons, except it's for attack and speed. And because Morgan causes buffing for attack and speed and debuffs for attack and speed, it fits very, very much in line with what we already got. I think that one is very likely to happen. It would make him really, really good as a hero, like as a carry hero, as a support hero. It gives him a lot of like roles and depth that he didn't have before. I think that one's pretty good. For Greid, his Grima's truth is defense +3 after combat immune attack speed -7, even higher. And then attack speed +7. Additionally, also the same idea. Chat, I really think that's most likely what's going to happen. Come on, if you think about it, it makes perfect sense. With the Plegian weapons and it being literally Grima's truth, why would it not just take from the Plegian weapons? I think that is the most likely refine we're going to get. Next, Marissa, Shamshir. Deals +10 damage when special triggers, which makes sense. She used to have Wu Dao on her base kit. At start combat, if unit's HP is over 50%, grants attack speed, defense +5 to unit during combat, and also if special triggers before or during combat, and unit attack grants special cooldown count -1 after combat. Ooh, I know what that is. Isn't that similar to Brave Celica, if I remember correctly? Here's my Marissa. Of course, base weapon was Wu Dao. She's not bad. Pretty good speed stat. Really mediocre attack stat. Great HP stat thanks to Infantry Pulse. I actually really like her. I gave her Fear of Desperation. I used her a bit. She kind of fell behind like a lot of other sword infantry heroes. Looks really, really, really good. I think this was like one of the first like really cute free-to-play heroes we got. And of course, I really like the fact that she's using both hands when she's attacking, which is pretty cool. But yeah, that entire thing fits really, really well. Because if you think about it, the special cooldown count -1 after combat is huge. Would help you charge and use your special much, much quicker. And considering she's all about spamming specials, it would make up for a low attack. And having HP over 50%, attack speed, defense +5 is pretty sensible. Now, I do see people use Wrath on Marissa, so that might be a bit tricky, but some stats, extra 10 damage, and then faster cooldown on specials is pretty decent. You guys are right, it is bad for Gale Force, because that 10 damage when special triggers does not work, but I don't think Marissa pulls off Gale Force very well. Her damage output isn't great, her speed's okay, like 46 attack, 36 speed, 32 defense, and 21 res with 53 HP yet. It's not 53 HP because of the A slot, but you know what I mean. And it's, of course, this is with weapon included as well, but you know what I mean. Just not ideal for Gale Force. So I think in terms of damage output, this fixes a lot of her main issues. And adding a bit more defense and a bit more speed really helps her out. So if you go Spurn on her, for example, I think that's a really legit build that you have capable on her. And of course, with Glimmer, 2 cooldown specials now turning to 1 cooldown specials. You can run Desperation on her, still trigger specials really, really quickly because they'll just be 1 cooldown. Really, I think her damage output gets fixed. So I think her basic builds are pretty good like this. Problem is, like, people like me have given her Fury, so we will knock her out of it if we're not careful. For Greid, he has 10 damage when special triggers, of course, keep the Wu Dao effect. At start combat, if unit's HP is over 50%, grants attack speed, defense +5 to unit during combat, of course. They're so similar. And also, and also special triggers before or during combat, and unit attack grants special cooldown count -2 after combat, aka Special Spiral. I feel like Greid's is way better because it's Special Spiral. Here's the thing, it's kind of awkward because she's the infantry pulser. She's not the one being infantry pulsed owing to her high HP. But if she can get her special fast and then use Special Spiral here and open up her B slot for like Spurn or something, it could really open the way. She could become very devastating as a unit. High damage output, high resistance to damage. Of course, the 5 extra defense helps a lot. That's really crazy good. I think they're on the right track, right? The expectation is for her to have fast specials and use a lot of low cooldown specials for most of her damage output, along with some extra stats. So I think that's really, really fair. Next, Quan, the gay Bolg, which a lot of people just intentionally say it's the gay bulge, but I understand, but like, it's supposed to be a Celtic, like of Celtic legend, Celtic weapon. Anyways, in combat against an infantry, armored, or cav foe, grants attack defense +5 to unit and neutralize units penalties to attack defense during combat. Huh. Will you look at that, chat? I still have my Quan. The funny thing is, I've killed off 2 Quans for rally speed defense plus, but I keep pulling him. So we're okay here. Anyways, Gay Bolg. In combat against infantry, armored, or cav foe, grants attack defense +5 during combat, which is nothing special. He has steady posture, which became nothing special as 2 4-star heroes got it. And he got drive attack, which became nothing special. Wow, they really, really destroyed Quan. because Echidna has drive attack. So goofy. So a base update of attack defense penalties removal, that helps a lot because he needs every bit of attack defense he can retain. 31 defense at base is nothing great, but considering how old he is, once upon a time, that was pretty cool. So yeah, kind of necessary to have something like that on top of him. At start combat, if foe's HP is over 50%, grants attack speed defense +5 to unit during combat, and also if foe initiates combat, unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack. QR, fair enough. So I'm seeing the idea here. With steady posture, you want him to get enough speed where your opponent doesn't double, and because his defense isn't that great, the entire idea is don't get hit as much in order to save yourself HP. So I get it. So it's improved QR with attack speed defense +5, which is I think is fair. So he gets attack defense +10 and speed +5. And because of his base kit, he gets speed +9 and defense plus another 4, so 14 extra defense. So he can reach 45 defense at base kit and 38 speed at base. I think that's alright. I think that's really fair. Considering, guys, he's going up against heroes like base Berserk, which, by the way, Quan is a 5-star lock hero. Berserk is not. Berserk also gets law attack defense in his as a refine, which is insane. And Berserk's, in my opinion, the best free-to-play defensive Lancer in the game. Cav Lancer, anyways. So, yeah, considering his competition being such a great free-to-play hero, he kind of has to have something that does quite a bit more. So the last one had a fairly simple idea, but I think it made a lot of sense. For Greid, in combat against an infantry, armored, or cav foe, grants attack defense +5 to unit and neutralize units penalties during combat. Same idea. Honestly, chat, I think that's probably what's going to happen. It's really, really fair, but he needs it. If foe initiates combat or foe's HP is 100%, which allows him to dual phase, in other words, because the 100% he can use this on his own phase. At start combat, grants attack speed, defense +5 to unit during combat, and foe cannot make a follow-up attack. Huh. I'm not such a big fan of this one. And the reason is, like, it gives you wary, right? But because it's speed +5, and his base kit adds another 4 speed, he's actually getting up there in speed, where he doesn't really... I mean, 38 speed is not great, and a lot of heroes will still double you, but denying a double when you're adding so much extra defense seems kind of wonky, right? Like, it could be detrimental. Sometimes you want to keep getting hit. That's the reality of it. If you get hit more often, and you have a high enough defense stat, you take minimum damage, but it's helping you charge your special, which gets you the kill. I can see where he's going with this, and I can see the benefits of it, but personally, I would say a hero that's already stacking so much defense would probably just want to get hit more so he can retaliate with like a stronger bonfire or something. Because if you get hit twice, you can retaliate with bonfire. If you hit one time, you can't. It's close, but I think they both have at least a base refine idea down packed. So Greid, in fact, is better on base penalty just because of the idea of neutralizing all penalties instead of attack and defense. But honestly, because his res isn't great, his speed isn't great, and you might want to get outsped, like I said, I can see the benefits and negatives of on both. So, of course, if you neutralize all penalties, that's probably for the best. But it's, for most part, the important ones are attack and defense, so that's a pretty close one. Finally, my man Hector. This is the one I was looking forward to the most. I still have base Hector. I still never got Valentine Hector, which, by the way, is still one of the most touching paralogs of all time. If you've never seen my reaction to it as I went through it, it's on YouTube. I literally cried during that paralog. It broke my heart. Anyways, Berserk Almaz. Accelerated special trigger cooldown count -1. At start combat, if unit's HP is under 100% and unit's attack triggers special, grants special cooldown count -1 and deals +10 damage when special triggers. Whoa, it's an improved Wrath. Really quick reminder, so most of the abilities are the same. At start turn, if unit's HP is under 75% and unit's attack triggers special, grants special cooldown count -1 and deals 10 damage when special triggers. So instead of 75%, it is now 100%. So if you just take any damage, you get Wrath, which I think is fair, considering how old of a unit he is. Defense and res-wise, defense is okay, res-wise is poor. So taking some damage, it was always awkward for Hector, right? If you take magical damage, he could die. Low speed, low res. If he couldn't kill them in one shot, he's in serious trouble. However, when it comes to defense, he might not take enough damage because his HP is so freakishly high. A lot of Gen 1 heroes just had really, really high HP. So getting into 75% wasn't the easiest thing to do. So yeah. It's fair to drop it to just 100%, aka taking any amount of damage. It is still Sling and Wrath, which is great, but the additional effect. If foe initiates combat or if unit's HP is under 100%, at start combat, neutralize effects that prevent units' follow-up attacks, and unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack. Fair enough. It is Wary QR. Right? Neutralize effects that prevents units' follow-up attacks, and unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack. Wait, actually, it's not Wary QR. Wait, it is Wary QR. That's the idea. Because the thing was, like, a long time ago, we were like, you should put Wary Fighter on Hector, not realizing Wary Fighter breaks the QR in his axe. So now you can actually do that, right? Wary Fighter. Because neutralizes effects that prevents units' follow-up attacks, works on yourself as well. So you can use Wary Fighter and still make a follow-up attack. And I think that's fair. So as low speed gets really, really mitigated now, he can take the damage and double back, get the kill. And to be fair, Hector's one of those most popular characters in Fire Emblem. So getting a really, really good refine is only fair in my opinion. So I like that a lot. I feel like that's sensible and still fair. It's a really good refine, to be clear, right? Because now he can only get hit one time, still double, get faster specials, and Wrath on top of that. Makes him a really scary unit on both phases. I like that a lot, though. Finally, Greid. Berserk Almaz. By the way, I say, you think it's supposed to be Armads, which I understand, but because of how Japanese people talk, I heard it pronounced as Almaz, so that's why I've been saying like that. People question me on that, but it's the R and L thing in Japan that really messes things up. Anyways, special trigger cooldown count -1. Start turn of units HP under 100%. It looks the same. Grant special cooldown count -1. Deals 10 damage when special triggers. Still Wrath. Alright. If foe initiates combat or if unit's HP is under 100% at start combat, grants attack +5 to unit and inflicts attack -5 on foe during combat. And also, if special is ready, unit can counterattack before foe's first attack. Ooh, that is a very different take. Attack +5, I like that. Attack -5, I like that. Helps keep up in terms of damage output and bulk. In terms of like keeping up with current new gen armors. But also, you're really making him unique here, because if the Wrath triggers and he has a special right away, he essentially has Vantage. Wow. And it just Vantage instantly, no condition, because if foe initiates combat or if unit's HP is under 100%, it happens. Wow. Wow. I like that. That's really cool. It really makes use of that Wrath and the special trigger cooldown -1. It's not completely broken because if he has a 2 cooldown special, for example, that's still not very scary. It's a 3 cooldown specials like Bonfire that makes the Hector scary. So I feel like that's fair. It's not perfect and it doesn't come out as cleanly as possible, but that actually does make some sense. So one's more offensive and one's much more defensive in terms of how to use their interpretations of potential Berserk Almads refines. Wow. Okay. Anyways, chat. Let me know what your thoughts are. I think a lot of them are pretty similar, right? I think Grima's Truth, for example, is very, very similar. I definitely think this is the most accurate one, Grima's Truth, because of Pelagian weapons. I think Flower Lance on Greid is a stretch. Savior, I think it's too early for that. I think Shamshir is really, really good. I think both of them have a really good Shamshir refine. I think that's very likely as well. So I think Morgan and Marissa are the most likely ones. I think Quan's also really likely as well. It's where Hector and Sumiya are the ones that I think are a bit more contentious. I think they got it pretty damn well. I think Male Morgan is definitely the one I feel like is absolutely going to be this. Anyways, chat, let me know what was your favorite refine, which one's most likely to happen. But yeah, we'll see soon enough. I'm really excited because I love Hector and Marissa's an awesome unit and Morgan's free to play. So, I mean, she's awesome because she's pretty. But that's what I think. Anyways, let me know.